So, Greg, hey, thank you for doing
Hey,
this.
no worries.
What are you wearing? A Tottenham shirt?
Nah, Argentina.
Oh, Argentina. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't know why. I just like the t-shirt.
okay. I saw your little one was wearing a United one.
Yeah, I've got him, got United one. I've got an Arsenal one as well though. He looks quite good in red, so um yeah, I buy him red strips.
So,
But
so is United your team or?
yeah, so Man United, I'm a big Man United fan. Um because of Sir Alex Ferguson, who I'm sure many people know, Scottish guy. Um,
Yeah.
and, just always because English football, I'm sure everyone in the world loves English football, even guys in Iceland, they talk about the English Premier League
Yeah.
because our own football is probably not up to the same standard. So Man United, because of the Scottish connection, was always my favourite team.
Yeah. Um, and you are trying to raise your little one into the right team.
Well, trying. But we in Scotland we have Rangers and Celtic are the two big teams, and that's a fierce rivalry. And my side of the family are all Rangers fans. The wife's side are all Celtic fans. So I'm trying to just nurture him a little bit along the way to not supporting. I don't care who he supports as long as it's not Celtic.
How is this? Uh, I mean, we meet regularly and mainly not through Skype calls or Zoom calls or whatever. We meet like at conferences and we have a lot of mutual friends that are doing conferences and kind of international footprint. How is this Corona thing hitting you?
In terms of getting out and about and speaking at events, it's obviously had a massive impact. Everything this year has either been postponed or moved online,
Yeah.
which is fine. I spoke at an online conference yesterday, but as you know, and you'll be able to definitely suggest that this is the best thing, going and meeting these people at the bar after the conference and getting drunk and having a party, having karaoke. That's what it's all about. It's not always just about the speaking event, and I find that quite frustrating. But they're moving online and doing the best we can, and you're still being able to join in Zoom, and people have got Zoom pubs, so you can still chat to people and have a beer, and carry on and stuff like that, and have a bit of fun. But it's not the same as I know you love the social aspect because you're always the the star of the parties when we meet. So I think I miss that side of it, and obviously seeing crazy guys like you either singing, dancing, or or extorting all of your good information out of you when you're drunk.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. So, uh, one of the things which I admired about you is your cunningness around affiliate. How? I mean, that is something that you focus quite a lot on.
Yeah, affiliate for me. A guy once said to me, a customer said to me, Craig, you're the stupidest guy in the world. So I had to help to build this guy's dental surgery up. And he had 5 practices and they were all doing really well. And he sold them all up at the age of 31. And he said to me, Craig, you are insane. Stupidest guy I've ever met. And I said, why is that? He says, you've made me be able to retire at this age. And, you've been paid a very, small fraction for doing so. He said, you need to find a way of making your own money, whether it's selling a product or something else, because you're really good at what you do. Why the hell would you ever consider building up other people's businesses? And that always stuck in my head. We do client work, and sometimes clients don't want to pay, or they're haggling on price, or various other things. And for me, I just wanted to do affiliate because that side of reporting, dealing with clients, having to go and meet them and all of that kind of stuff really wasn't for me. I couldn't be bothered with it. I would rather sit and do and try out some tricks and talk to SEO people and just make money. So affiliate's the perfect example for me to be able to do that. And because I've got a fairly good social media following and everything else, it's quite easy for me to be able to sell SaaS tools and stuff like that through affiliate as well as having some Amazon affiliate stuff. I've got some drop shipping websites as well. So yeah, I'm pretty much all out on that. And as a result of the coronavirus, I've not seen a huge impact on my business as a result. I know a lot of guys in the digital marketing industry where their clients are pausing budgets, everyone's panicking. So I'm in a fortunate position that over the last 4 or 5 years have pivoted towards affiliate in a big way. And it's kind of worked out well for me.
I mean, all the best SEOs, or at least the SEOs I think are the best ones, are not working with any clients. They just work basically for themselves.
Yeah.
And I remember like back in 2010, like sorry, 4, 5, 6, going to conferences, is that you could see some of these guys speaking at conferences, but they stopped speaking when they realized that Google might be out in the room listening to what they were doing and actually just adapting the algorithm to the stuff. But the Amazon stuff that you mentioned, how is that? Like, are you feeling anything from there? I mean, Amazon is probably one of the busiest websites in the world now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if anything, there's been an increase on Amazon sales because everyone's stuck at home. I mean, I think it's obviously niche dependent. I've got a golf website in the Amazon niche and a couple of other sports related websites, and they have seen an increase in traffic. But again, those are, especially with the golf website, it's coming into golfing season anyway. So I'm not sure if that's related to the coronavirus or it is just the golfing season anyway, and people are just getting their stuff prepared for when they're allowed to go back out. But most of the other people that I talk to as well have seen decent increases in their Amazon traffic, which, if you look at it with a common sense approach, people are buying online because they're bored, impulsive buyers and everything, just getting their stuff on Amazon. And the great thing about Amazon as well is, although I sell certain products on Amazon, they've got this 24-hour cookie policy. So everything that if you clicked on my website, didn't buy anything on my website, and then bought a whole bunch of toys for your kids or whatever it was going to be, then I get the credit for that because of the cookie policy. So Amazon are quite generous. I know the commissions are not generous, but they're generous in other ways where you get the credit for all of that.
What would be your advice to? So what I'm thinking here is that I used to own a lot of websites. I sold them back in 2008, around the first crisis that I went through, which was the financial crisis. So I basically just sold out. I had a lot of I actually had like hotels.is, current.is. I had online city hotels.co.uk. So I was doing a lot of affiliate with booking.com and these guys, and it was doing okay. And then I sold it back. But what if I wanted to start again? Let's say if I wanted to jump into this game again, what would be the kind of like the 1 or 2 tips that you would want me to have in mind? What has changed since 2008?
I mean, there's probably not that much change as such from 2008, but you always learn from your mistakes. So obviously you've done booking.com, which I've still got a booking.com website affiliate deal going on as well. Obviously that's taken a hit during this period, but in general, for anyone getting into Amazon, what I would say is some of the mistakes I've made are jumping into a niche so when I look at Amazon, I don't actually do the content and I don't do the link building. I outsource that part of it. So an article costs me the same price whether the product sells for $15 or $1,500. So my costs in terms of ranking a website and putting content out there are always pretty much the same. So go for items that cost more than £100, because what I found with my golf website was I was unable to scale it to the size that I wanted to, because people are buying golf balls, golf t-shirts, golf hats, and they're all $15-20. And obviously, I'm only getting a fraction of that from Amazon. So for anyone jumping in there, make sure it's a reasonably, high ticket item as such, because there's so many niches. Like, people are selling hunting scopes, binoculars, they're selling, power generators. It doesn't really matter what you sell. All of these items are all, $500 each. And for me, if you do Amazon like me, the cost of that content and link building, you've got to get a reward at the other side. Otherwise, you're going to be broke or unable to scale the way you want. So look for a high ticket item. Also, the golf niche is seasonal. So for 6 months of the year, the sales are through the roof, and then it tails off at the end of every year. So try and avoid anything that's seasonal as such. That would be 2 tips for anyone getting into Amazon. But everything else, in terms of whether it's Amazon or any other type of affiliate, I would always say to people, don't think that you can't achieve rankings in some of the most competitive niches. There's a lot of long tail keywords that you can quite easily get traction on and build up traffic that way. Some of the guys I know enter some of the most competitive markets, and you think, I can never make it in that market. Don't do that, because people are still lazy. People are still using other people's content. People really do have shitty websites. So don't be afraid to go after something that does have decent search volume as well. Because I get a lot of people asking me questions, and they're always looking for some weird, obscure niche that no one's really competing in, which is also good if you can find that. But there's only so many of those good, very niche specific markets that you can get involved in. So, don't be scared to go after like the golf niche. I ranked for over 3,000 keywords in the US within 3 or 4 months on page 1. So if I can do that, then pretty much anyone can with half a brain, in the right. And it wasn't even as if I was spending great money on links or anything like that. It was just average, just quality over quantity, and that worked very well. So that's
how would you like the basis of it? It would be that you would have to have a website. Would you buy something that already has existed for a while, and maybe buy something which is out on the market, or start a new one? And
I mean, personally speaking, I would always either buy something that was already out there, because the great opportunity for me with Amazon is there's so many guys who are really good on page and really good at content, and they lack all the other skills. So they can take a website up to earning $500 a month quite easily. And I can then go in and give them some money for it, and then take it up to the next level. So every website that I go for has pretty much been a website that I bought from someone. Failing that, I would use an expired domain name and try and get a domain name that's already got some form of history, because, starting from scratch, there's nothing wrong with starting from scratch, and people do that, but it's grunt work, and it's just getting new content on there and all that kind of stuff. Is it really worth starting from scratch when you can pay someone, a kind of couple of grand or whatever?
So just to summarize it up, get a domain. You could, I don't know if Internet Vikings is still out there, but you could get it from somebody like that. Find a team that can write content for you and do some link building. Make sure that you have the strategy in place. Look at the products that you want to sell. Tie it all together, and you start to make money. You can work from home and wear a Argentinian football shirt. I used to during my travels I learned 2 very important things. So they were taught to me by a great woman, Anne Kennedy. We were speaking about traveling, and she had kids which are older than mine. And she told me 2 things, Kristjan. Don't feed the gift monster. And I asked her what that was, and she told me that the gift monster is about that you keep coming home from conferences and you give them gifts. Mm-hmm. Then before you know it, they want more and more gifts, and then they want more gifts, and what you bring to them will not be enough. So you need to change that, because if you do that, then it's kind of it's like a Pandora's box or a black hole of. And then the other one, which was quite interesting, and I think it was her that told me that also, was that she used to buy the same book, so 2 copies of the book, and she gave 1 book to her kids, and then she took 1 book on the travel, and then she read actually through the phone, probably at that time, and read the book for them through the phone, and they had the book in front of them, so they could look at the pictures together and talk about it. And then the gift monster things actually made me think a little bit about it. So I started, instead of bringing gifts, I started to bring home cultural things. So, for example, when I was in Iran, I brought home the national football kit for Iran. And when my kids were out playing football, they were all wearing the Iranian football kit, while most others were wearing Barcelona or Spain or Iceland or whatever. And then when I was in Nigeria, I bought bubus. Bubus are like gowns that Nigerians wear. And then we had a bubu night where we would cook Nigerian food and wear bubus. So instead of bringing home endless amount of Barbie dolls, because I have 3 girls and 2 boys, I actually started to do it like that. So that's my story of why I smile every time I see a football jersey. It reminds me of that story.
Yeah, that's the great thing though. You travel around and grab stuff, and everyone's got their own weird quirks and their own story behind all of these things as well. But yeah, I just like I like football in general, and like grabbing, if I see a shirt there and I like the look of it, just grab it. And sometimes it is some weird obscure country, but yeah, so what, it's fun.
So Summarize is up. You're doing good. Happy as a pappy. Keeping that Scottish humor alive. Trying to make sure that your kid grows up properly, wearing a proper jersey, and then hoping that this all blows over and we'll be able to catch up again and grab a beer.
Yes, it would be good. I'm dying for a beer, so yeah. But yeah, no, as I say, I love meeting guys like you and hearing these stories, because everyone's got amazing stories to tell, and just experiences and stuff, and you can pick up a lot from that as well. So yeah, definitely miss that, and we'll definitely have to do it again in the near future.
On that, Greg, I agree with you, and I think one of the key things which I learned, because I've moved away from, I still do SEO, I still have SEO clients which I work with, and so I've never been hands off, and I try to select my projects based upon challenges that come up. But what I learned is that one of the key ingredients of being a good SEO or working with affiliate for that matter is being creative, is being able to take in stories and articulate them, but put them also into some kind of a strategy. And I think that's one of the things that sets you aside also, is that ability to be with people, listen to what's happening, have a good laugh, go home and say, okay, that was a good story. I'm going to see what I can do with that one, and maybe play with that from a content point of view even.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you can rehash some of these old stories. Like I said, the Peter van de Graaf story, I was talking about it at a conference yesterday, and so many people came back saying, so I could do this, I could do that. And they're obviously taking the Bukaki story and bending it into their own strategy, which is amazing, because obviously it's an old story, but the bait and switch model can still work very well. So yeah, it's and it's really funny. So
yeah, bait and switch. So we leave it at that. We leave it at bait and switch. I won't bait and switch this interview, but I'm grateful for this. Thank you, Greg, and say hi to the family and give them a virtual hug from me.
I will do. Thank you, Kristjan. It's been a pleasure.
It's been wonderful to watch your little guy grow up, and then hopefully we'll meet again. And he won't.
We will do, for sure.
You take care.
Cheers. See you later.
Bye bye.